everyone. Well, welcome. So we're doing where to find how to do something navigating Learn WordPress. And for those of you, I did do my slides for the first time on a local site and used my favorite block, which is the group block. And thanks to my friend Brian Gardner, who had done a tutorial about it. And if you watch it, you'll hear my name a lot because I ask those questions that make him think even more about what he's doing. So thanks to all of that. So a little bit more about me. She said that I'm part of the training team and content creator. So I do online workshops and tutorials and lessons. I'm also the team rep for this year and next year. We do 2 years. So there's 3 team reps, and we kind of help facilitate the training team, onboard new contributors, and kind of make our goal, help make the goals come to life. I'm also part of the new working group, / we hope it is a future team, the DEIB group, which started from a conversation at WordCamp US, and we have been spearheading that with helping to improve things like this, like a WordCamp, and making it accessible to everyone, and also those internal things like, is the lighting too bright? If we serve food, the food allergies, and is there a quiet place for people to go? So we're working on developing a handbook for resources with that. And like she said, I have my own business. I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina, originally from Chicago. And I've only been doing WordPress for 2 years. I left a really great job as a robotics teacher for kids, but I wanted my weekends off and came across WordPress as a way to have the flexibility to move around and do that. So the learning outcomes for this presentation, I'm hoping, is that you will learn what is learnwordpress.org, how to find the free open source learning materials, where to find other resources like the replay of this presentation, look at WordPress TV and our WordPress YouTube channel. And then I'm going to give you hopefully a sneak peek to our new learning pathways. So what is Learn? It's not .org, it's .org, not .com. So a lot of people get confused with that. So I just want to specify that the learnwordpress.org is the free, yes, free. It's filled with the open source learning materials for users, designers, developers, to learn about how to set up a website, to features and also new releases. If you are part of a local WordPress meetup, these resources are for you. If you are a DIYer or you want to do a free presentation for your colleagues or community, these resources are for you. Here's the catch though, you just can't charge money. That's the reason why open source means open source. It's free for everyone. So I'm a hands-on learner. I'm a visual learner, so I have a slide, but I also, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get onto the web and show you where to find these resources. So we're going to go and open up the learn.wordpress.org. So this is what it looks like now. We are going through an exciting redesign to make it easier and simpler to find these kinds of this resource. So I'm going to step back to, oops. Okay. thought I was going to do something else. Okay, so we're on the Learn, and if you look at the tabs, we have the Learn tab, and when we click on that, you'll see that we have a bunch of different options here. So we have Learn WordPress, we have documentation, forums, developers, and our WordPress TV. So we'll keep on the Learn WordPress site. And right now we have tutorials and lesson plans that you can browse through. There's a search window up here, which has gotten so much better in the last 2 years. And we also have courses. And we take a bunch of different videos and put them into different courses for beginners and things like that. So if I click on View All Courses, you can see here there's different headings. So Developer with WordPress, Introduction to WordPress, using the site editor. So if you are a classic editor, classic theme user, and you want to make the jump into the site editor and block editor, there's some resources here. Also contributing to WordPress. There's 22 plus teams within WordPress.org, and there's a place that needs your help. So up at the top too, you'll also see that we've broken it down into tutorials, online workshops, courses, lesson plans. The online workshops is a calendar, and we use the Meetup app also and website to promote and that's where you would sign up for online workshops. So we have different content creators throughout the world, and so there's different time slots that hopefully work good for you. If not, there's always replay, so you can sign up for a workshop and you can then get notification when we have posted it on WordPress TV or the YouTube channel. So we try and record all of our presentations. Tutorials is kind of going through a kind of redesign. So this is the last one I did, and it's kind of funny that it popped up first. My last tutorial that I posted here is part of the learning pathways, which I'll talk about later. And you can go in and find different, and tutorials are usually like a 5 to 10 minute look at things. And so we try and make those a little bit shorter than an actual lesson or something. We've improved the filtering of things. This was always difficult when I first became aware of Learn, that I couldn't get some of the things that I was looking for previously. Like, okay, I found it, where is it? And so we're gonna go back to, so we're gonna go into the WordPress TV. So WordPress TV is where kind of everything that's been recorded is downloaded to. And we have WordCamps, we have meetups. If your local meetup does recordings of their things, there's a place for those. The keynote speeches from previous years, you can categorize it into a how-to section. And so WordCamps, this would be the place that these videos from this WordCamp would be. You can see here that the WordCamp US from last year is here, and different presentations. So those are always good to kind of go back and look at. And if you are going to be a speaker for a future meetup or WordCamp, it's a great resource, again, to use for your speech. it's okay to, share it as long as you give credit to the original person who's doing it. That's the great thing about this community is, being able to share our resources with each other, because we all want to be able to learn and help people to understand it. And, it's not some secret that we're keeping in the back room of how to do this stuff. So, being able to share that is really good. I think I lost my slides. Sorry about that. All right, so then the next thing I want to talk about is our YouTube channel. So WordPress.org is really trying to kind of get more into the community, because you go around and you say WordPress.org and people are like, what? Like, what's WordPress kind of thing? And we want to try and grow the community, especially for younger people too. So we kind of have to go through to the source, and doing more YouTube and things like that. So we can go into YouTube and find WordPress. And of course it doesn't. So that's the other problem, is that we should be able to, this should show up first thing. So we need to have, more people searching for it to get the algorithms to work so that it comes up a little bit better. And so we're using this to push, we have our links to that WordPress TV, but we want to also be able to showcase different things. So we have videos, there's lives. The podcast is right now just the WordPress briefing lives here. We have been creating some playlists. So again, we'll talk about that learning pathways. And we're creating that pathway here within the YouTube channel. So some of the other resources that aren't really part of Learn, but I think they're so important, and we're trying to kind of bring together the documentation team. It's a separate team, but it works so well with the training team that I want to highlight that another resource for you to use when you are trying to find different things. So when we go into, now I'm using another website, which is part of the overall, which is make.wordpress.org. And make is kind of like, if you want to contribute, this would be a great place. There's even now a contributor wizard to find out you can answer some questions to find out what team you would be best suited for. Which is really cool. I haven't tried that yet. But again, the Learn tab is in this also, and documentation. And what I like about this is part of the new redesign, so that's why it looks a lot different than that learn.wordpress.org site. We're kind of streamlining it, making it a little bit more simpler. So we have some tabs up here, some navigation, but that navigation is also the heading blocks within here that you can scroll through to see. And the thing that I wanted to point out is this customization. It works really well for users. So if we click within customization, it's broken down into appearance, the block editor, default themes, So all of those. Design blocks, embedded blocks, media block, you get the idea. So the great thing is that down here, this blocks list, which I really like, is when you click on this, and if I did a search on, the group block, it's going to give me an overview of what the group block does, and it also has images to kind of walk you through the different steps in order to do that. So this is a great resource for me as a content creator, that I can go here and make sure that I'm giving the right information for a presentation. And they even have like little video clips sometimes, and really kind of give you a step-by-step with other links to see for different options. They've added this to, this is like a table of contents for the article, which is nice. So I believe this might be an accessibility thing that they've added that would make a screen reader easier to use to find things a little bit quicker than scrolling through all the different headings. The next thing I wanted to show was that if I go into my dashboard within WordPress, and I'm going to make my screen a little bit bigger because I want you to see over here this little if I go back here to the home page, the resources that are here are kind of similar to what I showed you. So if you click on the W icon in the corner, you'll see that we have About WordPress, we have WordPress.org, okay? So if I click on that, so this is this was the site that I was trying to show you. So now just WordPress.org is the new redesigned page that's a little bit simpler to use. Again, here's that Learn and the same drop-down menu. So that's exciting to have that. But again, if you click on that icon, we also have the documentation link and then the Learn WordPress link. I also wanted to point out support. So that's a great resource if you have a problem, that you can come here first and kind of look for other people so in fixing WordPress, search the forum first to see if somebody else had the problem, and then if it hasn't, then there's a nice button to log in and create a topic for discussion for other people within the community. And then the other thing is the feedback option. So if you find a bug, we want to hear about it. Don't post it on Twitter, post it here. So anytime, again, you can search the feedback forum to see if somebody has posted that problem already. If not, please fill out the form. It's very user-friendly too. I can even fill it out. So it doesn't ask for a lot of technical stuff. So these resources are great within the dashboard. And so I just wanted to point out a couple other things that I didn't realize that were there, but are really useful. So right here on the dashboard, sometimes we look at this welcome and we just dismiss it, right? We just make it go away. Well, you can bring it back, go up to Screen Options and click on the window, Welcome window. But this tells you about the latest version. And so this is another great resource, especially if you are like a WordPress meetup person, to let your community know, oh, they had this, release. It took care of the 21 bugs. What else happened in this release? And again, it gives you kind of a step-by-step of different things that were focused within that release. Some of the other things are great. The credit, the people who worked behind it, if you are looking for, a contact maybe of somebody, the list of names are there. The 4 freedoms of WordPress.org about being open source, a basic privacy policy, and then, again, getting involved. You see that getting involved and contributing is kind of all over the place, because it takes all of us to be part of this to make it run. And the other thing is that over here, this little help, again, we have kind of the same information. So if you can't find it in the 3 places I showed you, so again, documentation, support forums, this version, all kinds of different places to find the same information. So I want to go into our new project. We've been working on this for the last year, the training team. It's called the Learning Pathways. And Courtney here kind of started the whole ball rolling back when? A couple years now? Yeah. And it's kind of taking those courses, but kind of going to the next level to bringing together a bunch of tutorials, or we now call them lessons, but it's just a 5 to 10 minute short little video that's going to walk you through different aspects. So as a beginner user, how do you set up your site? How do you connect with things? How do you add a plugin? And we have a beginner and an intermediate and advanced pathways. So we've even broken it down into that simple form of, as a beginner, this is how you start adding things. How do you make a page? Just some basic things to get a page built. We'll also focus on making relevant content easier to find and the inclusion of a framework that classifies content by the skill levels. So let's take a look at so my colleague Wes Theron did a presentation about it at WordCamp Asia, and he's one of the main facilitators with Jonathan Bossinger. Jonathan's on the developer side, so the 2 of them have kind of spearheaded the organization of what would be considered a beginner, an intermediate, and advanced pathway. So I'm going to come back here to my WordPress site and do a search for learning pathways. And you get a lot of different things. I'm just going to focus on a couple of the documentation if you're interested in this. So Wes did a post back in October about the kind of the outline. If you are interested in how the pathway outlines to here's the fancy spreadsheet of how a user and the different lessons that we categorized within the different skill levels. So we have the user, designer, and developer. Another document is Pathways to Learn WordPress. Again, this is kind of the, we took all the lesson plans and tutorials and kind of broke them down into the different sections. So we have a lot of resources already, but they're kind of like all over the place. So, you know, bringing them together to say, okay, you know, like if you want to do a page, so here's about the group block, here's about the space block, here's about accessibility or UX, UI, how do you make it look nice on the front end? How do you add padding and categories and tags and things like that? So organizing, what is a theme? You know, that's a beginner lesson for people is, you know, how do I make all those pretty things? Well, there's free themes, there's paid themes, you know. And go back here. So right now, thank you very much for attending. If you'd like to become a contributor to the training team or to the others, go to the makewordpress.org site and be happy to open it up to questions if anybody has anything, or I can go back if there's something you didn't see, be happy to walk you through. Yes?
Thanks for the great presentation. You listed a number of resources: Learn, TV, Make, Meet. Which area would you say needs the most love, and what do you need in particular that would help make it a better place?
I think the biggest thing is content creators, but also just reviewers. Somebody who will come in, and it's an easy thing of if I make some content, what we try and do is we try and go through a process of a review of having 2 to 3 people review it. It becomes a GitHub issue, and we have a template where you just you watch the video, which is only under 10 minutes, and check mark to see if things were okay. You know, was the sound okay? Was the information? And then we ask you to just, you know, add some feedback too. Just add a couple of sentences, and that could take a whole 15 minutes, you know. And if you could do, you know, Wes is putting out like 3 or 4 videos a week, and just to get things growing, because we want to launch this in July. So we're really close, and we could really use the help with the reviewers and then content creators. And then also we're looking at all the older stuff and how outdated it is. So going through the list, we got a list from Meta, yes, I think. We got a list from somebody of all the videos and like the time frames, and going through those to just say, okay, we need to get rid of these. You know, we're trying to clean it, make everything simpler to find, because a lot of times we didn't put the version that it was, and so you do a search and you're looking at something from 3 years ago and your dashboard doesn't look the same. So that's the goal for the future as we release the learning pathways. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't want to dominate the question.
It might be us back and forth because I have a list. How can you tell, is there any way to tell when you go on the WordPress to learn if your problem that you're having is because of WordPress or because of the theme you're using?
That's a good question, and that's when you kind of have to do that problem solving. I'm not as technical in finding those issues, but don't be afraid to ask. And, you know, reach out to your WordPress meetup group if you have one. If not, there's a lot of great ones. A guy named Eagle out in California, he has one where he just does stuff like that, like join, sign up, let them know. It's the Santa Cruz meetup.
What's his name, Eagle?
Yeah, Eagle.
Whatever it takes.
So not a question, but another option that's there. There is the site health tools in WordPress, and there is a plugin. So site health is built into all of them. Laura, could you look at .org/plugins, and I want to show people how to do the turn off and on again in a fake mode. So when you are trying to decide if something is, and look for, I forget if it's under site health or
Site health,
troubleshooting.
There's site health.
Yeah, search site health and we'll see if the plugin comes up. We want it under specifically searching plugins.
Oh,
I was
Yeah.
just,
So what it does is it lets you, if you don't have a staging site to
Scroll down.
use, then you could, Laura, if you could scroll down just a little bit, I think, health check and troubleshooting is the one. So this extends what is the site health setting inside the WordPress admin dashboard. And if you go ahead into that, and let's see if we see any screenshots of it. If you use this, it extends it so that you can turn on troubleshooting mode. And what troubleshooting mode does is it will let you act as an administrator as if you would roll back to a default theme without deactivating your actual theme. I mean, I would recommend people use a staging site and test there. But if you can't do that or you want to test faster, a way of sort of faking it is that the administrator, maybe in the screenshots, if you go through the carousel of screenshots and see what we get, it lets you have a troubleshooting mode, and it will go down to a default theme. It's not wanting to, there you go. Troubleshooting mode is active. So what this does is that the users of your website, everybody else except the administrator, would see your site as normal, but this troubleshooting mode lets you kind of fake it so that you would have the experience of going back to a default theme and then testing, is that still the same issue that I'm having or not having?
okay.
That's the other reason why backups are so important.
Yeah.
That if it's an issue that just kind of popped up, to go back and do something like this and then look at a previous version of on a local site. You can pull up.
I'm not seeing that though.
Health check and troubleshooting is the title of that plugin.
Yeah.
And it is made by contributors that work on the site health settings.
And that's in plugins?
Yes.
Mhm.
If you go to wordpress.org/plugins.
Oh,
Or if you go to add it into
Okay.
your own site, then you add in.
Okay, that's what's wrong. Okay.
If you look for health check and troubleshooting, you can add it to your site that way.
Okay,
All right.
thanks.
Out of all the work that you've done, for someone that's new to Learn, what's your favorite learning path that you would recommend? That's been a favorite of yours to put up or work on?
Well, I like that. Yeah, I like doing the beginner stuff, and it's been nice because since I've joined the training team, I've been like the guinea pig of finding those updates. And I have a background as a Montessori teacher, and if you don't know anything about Montessori, it breaks things down into steps. So like a 3 to 6 year old program for Montessori kids takes washing a table and breaks it down into 20 steps. Or making a piece of toast. Think about how many steps from getting the bread to opening the package to pulling out the piece of bread to putting it in the toaster to pushing the button down. So I have that mindset of breaking things down for user experience, and which I really loved when I got into user experience. I was like, oh yeah, like this is like my realm of how can I make this easier? What is the flow? Does that make sense? So just being able to contribute to the training team in that aspect too has been really beneficial for me, that I'm leaving my legacy as my friend who just retired from major computer company. Gosh, I forgot where he worked. And that was one of the things that he wanted to do his last couple years was I want to leave a legacy. And he got into his diversity group for his company and being able to support younger people. And that's what as a teacher, I want to support people. I want to be able to show them the easier way, like I said at the beginning. It's not a deep, dark secret, and we shouldn't, feel like we're hiding it within all these different pages. It shouldn't be hard to find.
Two more questions. What's the timeline for your redesign of Learn, and what can we expect?
So that's part of the website design team. I don't know what their timeline is, but we are trying to push them so that the learning pathways
Show the test site.
I know, I was like, wait, I forgot I had that.
It's some /test actually.
Sorry, I'm going into my training Slack here. All right, so Adam Wood has been really doing a great job here. So this is going to be, so again, how I told you that documentation page is like the new, so you see kind of the similar setup. So this is going to be our new Learn WordPress site, so that we have these kind of major categories of developing, user, and designer. So we're starting with the user and developer first with those pathways, and then we'll have different features within there. We actually have a new thumbnail also that can be used for different presentations, and we're using that through Figma setup.
And a lot of tech companies do certifications once you complete some sort of training. Is something similar available here when you complete a
We
learning
would
tech?
really like it to be. I mean, that's like the end goal, because yeah, a lot of companies, and it looks good on your resume that you have some, I have this knowledge within that, and being able to show that you did the work. My husband's a PMI, project manager, so he has his certifications that he goes through, and being able to show that. So yeah, that would be an awesome next step after the learning pathways, that we've cleaned everything up to then say, okay, you've completed this level, yeah.
So I want to share Joe Simpson in the back. Thank you so much for asking all these questions. Joe has contributed to the accessibility team quite a lot in WordPress, facilitating meetings over the years, and is Santa Clarita camp organizer, meetup organizer, etc. So we've got the West Coast visiting today in New York, which is delightful. Thank you, Joe. So Joe, the questions around certification at some points in our past as a project have been met with opposition because other open source projects, the way they went about their certification, people had questions, contentions with. But then the flip side is that when I was a boot camp instructor for my students, were primarily in the Wilmington, Delaware area, our organization wanted to have certifications available to know what they should be covering in the boot camp, and educators can make use of Learn and all of these things. And so I talked with our project co-founder about some of this, Matt Mullenweg, and he has shifted his opinions over the years to being open for certification. Learn does need to be developed further, and then there would need to be some more like reach out, focus group type of work, talking with other open source projects, learn the pros and cons, talking with those that do the hiring. Is this aligning with the actual career pathways, like what they would look at during interviews? And also talk with educational institutions about how they might make use of certifications to help form their program around that. So to do so as an open source project is no small feat, as you can
It seems
imagine.
like it would be so beneficial, it'll help grow
Yes.
the program.
Yes.
By making it
Yes.
a little more exposed.
And I think I'm just gonna volunteer that we'll ask Joe questions as well.
I just wanted to go back to the YouTube channel and highlight, I forgot to, the learning pathways. I said that we're starting to create a playlist. So here's a beginner WordPress user. So this would be the playlist for that. And we have 25 videos so far. And so, the first one is an introduction. Then we go into domains and hosting. Then we go into choosing your theme. So you can kind of see the flow that we're trying to create, that it makes a little bit more sense with how is somebody going to start using as opposed to a developer or a designer.
And is this list populated by what you do with your meetups, or is it a separate recording session, or how does that work?
Yeah, so this is our content creation that we upload to WordPress TV, and then they magically connect and populate, and then we go in and add the timestamp stuff for kind of the outline of what was in that video to help people find things a little bit more easier, so that if you are looking for then a classic theme, that if you did a search, so just optimizing the search windows for different things too has been, and tagging things to be able to find it a lot easier.
So anyone can go and embed YouTube videos, anywhere they put them. Whether they embed them onto Learn's website, or say you work at GoDaddy or another hosting company, and we go and embed the same videos that are coming from YouTube to our sites. Is the team currently working on any initiatives around when a release happens, now we have to re-record? And how do we ensure that when we upload, anywhere that has been embedded also gets modified too?
Yeah, so that's where cleaning up the old stuff first is going to be beneficial, so that when we do have that next release, that we can then go in easier and we have that learning pathway, and we can just go in and switch out or make a quick update within those videos.
And there's no setting it to expire on a certain date?
Well, so like, I work for GoDaddy, and if I were to borrow one of the videos that the team has made, why should GoDaddy recreate what we're contributing to .org to do? I actually show up and help make some of this stuff, but I'm also looking at it from the side of, if customers are on our website and they access the material, I would rather direct us, rather than GoDaddy recreating it, I would rather say, let's go get it and support the team that's making this stuff, and to do likewise at other providers in the space. But then disseminating that information, updating it not just on Learn, but also sometimes support will embed it into things, or docs will do it inside of .org, or all these external dependencies will want that video or that item. And ensuring that it stays current with releases, and that, that it's a lot to figure out.
I'm saying, is there any way when you post a video to set it to expire in 2 years or something? So it takes itself down.
I think that you probably wouldn't want that, because there may be a user that wants to access something from 2 years ago. They might be on the WordPress version, so that consideration is also kind of a part of the practice and mechanics of creating these videos, I think.
And that's the conversation that we're having now with Core and Meta, is how long are you keeping information? And so that's going to be a decision coming up soon, so that we can move forward with cleaning up our previous videos with that. But
If I search for anything and I don't have a date on it, I'm just like, because I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing, that we need to date things to make that easier too. So, well, thank you very much. Is there any other question, Joe?